Hey guys, Janice here, and today we're going to review Canon M3, which is my new vlogging camera. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that originally I started out with a GoPro, after which I transferred to Canon 60D, and now I am down to this. This video has been filmed on Nikon D750, and it's totally not related to what we're talking about today. One of the main reasons that I bought this camera is because it, unlike many other point and shoot cameras, this camera actually has a mic input, which if you have been in the video world for some time, or maybe you're just a beginner, you know that a high quality video is nothing without a high quality sound. And I was very excited about this camera because I could start using it with my Rode mini mic that I could just mount on top, and I loved it. The setup here, this camera is really light. From Canon 60D, this is obviously a step down because on the market of all the point and shoot size cameras, this camera is not on the high end. If Sony RX100, which is one of the standard market cameras for vloggers, it's about $800, the latest version now, $850 or $900 or so. This camera cost me, I think, $400 with the lens included. By the way, I got it in white, not because I'm a girl, simply because it was cheaper on eBay to get it in this color than in any other color. The reason I decided to take a step down price-wise is because I've noticed that when I had my 60D around, I always would wrap it into something. I'm very careful with my equipment in general as a photographer because, you know, the more you care for it, the longer it lasts. But I noticed that I would always miss out on interesting moments when I was out and about. Maybe I was at a bar drinking, or I was stretching and doing flexibility, and my Canon 60D cost me so much 2 years ago, plus the 22mm pancake lens, that I was less likely to just, you know, throw it in a corner and then take it out and press play and record. So I decided to get something that, you know, if in 3 years this camera will be over, I will be totally fine with replacing it with a newer model of the same thing that will cost me under $400, because honestly, I'd rather have the moment and catch the momentum and film something interesting for my vlog than, you know, trying to save an $800 camera and always be putting it somewhere else. Though there are many other brands available on the market, I decided to go with Canon once again, mainly because I absolutely enjoyed its face recognition mode in my 60D, and I felt that the same recognition mode would carry out in this camera. And though this camera does have face recognition mode, it is much slower than the camera I had before, which is fine because it has a flip screen and I can just flip it and wait until it focuses on my face, and then I can start recording. Now you notice that the screen doesn't flip to the side, it flips up, and this is where the audio problem comes in. Usually with point and shoot cameras or with any other DSLR cameras, you mount the mic on top where the hot shoe input is. And if the hot shoe input is on top of the camera and you mount a mic on top, this doesn't work. So that was on the designer's mode, in my opinion. If they included a mic input into this camera, this screen should have been flipping to the side instead of flipping on top. Now you can use the screen with a little bit space in between here, but it's not enough for the screen to recognize that it's being upside down, so you're still gonna see the video upside down in reverse until it goes into full locked position here. Only then the video will flip upside down for you to be able to see yourself. So it doesn't really work with the microphone, so I am doubting whether I will actually be using the mic input. That is the reason number one. And the reason number two is that, and we will take this camera outside and we'll do some test shots, and you will hear that when external microphone is plugged in, there is a white noise that you can hear really well. Maybe not that well on the street when there are other sounds, but if you're filming indoors and you just shut your mouth, you hear that white noise so predominantly. And most likely, you know, all of us, I don't like spending a lot of time in post-production as it is, and now I have to, you know, worry about the microphone. So what I might do is something that I saw someone else on YouTube doing, is put this little muffler things from Hobby Lobby, those little like fake fur things, kind of like the one I have on this Rode microphone that I should also show you in this video that I'm going to, but I can't right now because I'm recording on it. So I'm probably gonna muff it and just try to get away with it and kind of get used to the sound, because ultimately for creation of content, what matters the most is the content itself. And if the audio suffers a little bit, I know it's at the beginning of the video that it's very important, and it is, but at this point I'm not gonna run off and buy another camera. So let's take this baby outside and test it out. Now that I have you outside, I absolutely cannot see how the video looks, so I don't know if the camera is focusing on my face or even if it's doing the right exposure. I have a Rode microphone on top with a muffler. It's quite windy outside right now, but you probably won't hear the wind. So the first thing we're going to do is to see how the camera reacts well to the change of the dark background to bright background. I don't know how long it's gonna take, probably gonna take some time. So let's compare the audio, and I'm gonna take this microphone off and see the difference and see how much comfortable I am filming this and actually be able to see myself. Honestly, I do like the idea of not being able to see myself because I'm more likely to look into the freaking lens rather than looking at myself on top of the camera. Alright, so now that I can see myself, I feel much better, but obviously every now and then you guys will see me looking up at myself because I can't help it. But I also think it's not a good thing when you're vlogging, you should look directly at your viewer. And this is the microphone that I had on top. This is a Rode Mini with a little muffler on. I love this thing. This thing is so awesome. So now we're going to compare the audio between having the mic on and having the built-in mic on. We'll see how this works. I'm at full extension of my arm at 15 millimeters right now. Alright, and just for shits and giggles, I decided to do a comparison of the video that you saw from another camera, from this camera. So right now I'm holding my camera at 15 millimeter arm length, extended all the way, and I'm standing next to the same light, kind of in the same scenario that you did before, and you obviously see much more of the room. I'm also a bit more yellow, mainly because I still don't know how to set up white balance on this camera, because on the D750 it's so easy to do it because you have an external button for it and then you can adjust it by the color temperature, and here it kind of takes me forever to do it, and once I get more of it, I probably will look less yellow than I am right now. Also, there is no external microphone hooked up to this camera right now. I'm going to hook up a microphone and see the difference between the audio quality. I have a microphone on. I can't actually see myself, so I don't know how the hell the video is looking, because in order for me to mount this microphone on top of this camera, I have to release the flip up screen, and it doesn't really work with this freaking microphone. Now, there are videos on YouTube where they give you adjustments on how to put the microphone to the side, but I honestly don't want to go through that trouble and do an adjustments and glue stuff on the floor. This is more at the point of, listen, you Canon developers, if you create an audio input, do not make the screen flip up, because that's where the microphone goes. For myself, I found this to be a very, very good investment. And if you're just starting out and don't feel like dropping at $900 on a point and shoot camera, this is definitely an option for you. For myself, I found it very useful. Though I said I don't like the flip to the side screen, I do wish it was to the side. This camera with 15 millimeter range is very convenient for when I'm at the studio training and I just put it up against the wall, flip it up, and record all of my training and dancing that I want to. I find this camera to be very helpful to create Instagram content. If you go to my Instagram at Hello Jana, you will see that I do a lot of poll videos, and they're very bright and colorful, and that's what this camera allows me to do. I mean, if you're really much into building your Instagram content and you are into video, maybe dancing, that you need to showcase your work that you're doing on Instagram or maybe Facebook, this camera will allow you to compensate exposure even in automatic mode up to -3 to +3 stops of exposure, which is very helpful, especially if you're recording something that has very dark or very bright background. As you saw from the video on the streets outside, this camera is not as good as adjusting exposure of the very bright background, even though it's focusing on your face. It's still kind of a bit of a disconnect. Though the focus is maintained on your face, the overall exposure is still adjusted to the average brightness of the whole area of the screen, which is weird because it seems like if you're focusing on my face, you should be exposing for my face. But, you know, still get great deal for $400, as I said. And if you guys have any other questions about this particular camera, comment below. If you have any other tricks with this camera that you know of, let me know in the comments below. If you have any other questions about any other equipment that I use, you're also more than welcome to shoot the questions below. Anyways, I'll stop rambling, subscribe. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!